112 is in Miami.
Oh, it's not in, they don't have one in Chicago? But what about Trey Dita that you were telling me about?
Trey Dita, I don't think they comp anybody.
Oh, they don't comp you. Come on, we just gave him all this publicity.
Warm, toasty.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Giannis boos back at Milwaukee fans. Dante Moore returns to Oregon. And Steve Young joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with an offshoot of Mike Tomlin's decision yesterday to leave the Pittsburgh Steelers. Our question is not necessarily who is the best replacement for Tomlin. Our question is about the attractiveness of the Steelers' job. It is currently one of 9 NFL openings: Atlanta, the Giants, Tennessee, the Raiders, Baltimore, Arizona, Miami, Cleveland, and now Pittsburgh. Wilbon, is the Pittsburgh job the most attractive one?
Nope, not to me. No. And by job, I don't think you can just look at football personnel. You got to look at the history of the franchise management. So many of these things are still family owned. You know, working for the Rooneys is a pretty good way to go.
That's right.
So that vaults you ahead of some other people that might have better personnel on field. But even with that, Tony, I'm going to say Atlanta, because it looks like they got people, the Falcons, where you could go if you're a really good coach, and you could either win now, particularly in that division, or come close now. Yeah. And I'm looking at Bijan Robinson, and I'm looking at Pitts, the tight end, and I'm looking at Drake London. They got players. They got a couple of players defensively that you just say, okay, there's a half dozen people here at the core of this. I'm ready to coach them. So I think Atlanta.
So my answer to this question is quarterback dependent.
Okay.
Who is going to be the quarterback for the Steelers? Is the new guy going to come in here and wave a magic wand and just get a quarterback? Because in the last, 5 or 6 years, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Mitch Trubisky,
since Ben,
Justin Fields,
since Ben,
Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, without particular success. If they made the playoffs, they went out immediately. So, I mean, let me refer to my notes here. I mean, I thought there was a chance after the game on Monday night that Aaron Rodgers was indicating he wanted to stay, that he was opening that window, because he talked about how much he enjoyed himself that year. But when Tomlin left, I think that window closed for Rodgers as well. I don't think a coach is going to come in and want a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers unless that coach is Mike McCarthy. And I think, like you need a quarterback. So I would put Atlanta, but I'm thinking of Kirk Cousins in Atlanta that makes it attractive. I'm thinking Cam Ward makes Tennessee attractive. And I'm confident that Lamar Jackson makes Baltimore attractive. The other teams, I don't know, although at least with the Raiders, you have the number 1 pick. So if you want a quarterback, you can go get one.
The Raiders, we both have said in the last week, are broken. And I got to see a whole lot more from them.
Here's the problem with the Steelers, and their ownership is great, and they have a long and storied history. They have no offense. They have 175 yards of offense against Houston. That's a rebuild, Mike.
Yeah, but
that's a rebuild.
Tony, rebuilds in the NFL
also have an old roster.
Happen more quickly than they do, say, in the NBA.
That's right.
And Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
they do. You can.
But they're due.
Sitting on a team
they're
that
due
turned
for a rebuild,
offensively
Pittsburgh.
in a year.
Yeah.
So maybe Pittsburgh could do that too. Maybe. Let's move to college football quarterback news. Dante Moore is returning to Oregon rather than entering the NFL draft. But Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson is sticking with his NFL draft plans despite transfer offers that approach 8 figures, if you believe his agent. Tone, what do you make of Moore's decision to stay at Oregon and Simpson's decision to leave Alabama for the NFL?
Both decisions seem to me like they are economically based. I'm going to start with the Alabama kid. I think he's betting on himself. I think he's betting that he can be a first-round pick, because even if he is the 32nd and last pick in the first round, he will get a contract worth $16 million over 4 seasons, right? So he's got, I think, 1 year left in college. What can he get in college? $4 million, $6 million, $8 million. The report was $6.5 million. It's not $16 million. You're better off if you can make the first round. It's not a quarterback-heavy draft. Mendoza is going to go on. Now, what Moore just did, Moore acknowledged that people watched the Indiana-Oregon game, where he had a bad game. So he's going to go back and prove himself so that he can get more money down the road. I mean, I think if the Alabama kid can show well in the combine and get to the first round, that's a big deal. Maybe Pittsburgh will take him. They need a quarterback.
Yeah, Tony, you know, the great thing is these decisions are no longer perilous because there's some money.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
So who else who walks across the graduation stage at Alabama or Oregon of the classmates. Walk across in a cap and gown.
Not gonna make that
Anybody
much.
going to have 3-4 million waiting on them?
No.
They're not.
No.
So even if there's injury, even if there's underperformance, even if there's something else befalling the kid that we can't even identify, there's money there and there's opportunity to, as Moore says, get better. He's going to go play in something familiar with a team around him that could win the national championship. People thought Oregon was a year away anyway when we got to this year.
But there is more money in the pros. If you are a starter, if you're a starter of Alabama, let's go backwards. Jalen Hurts, Alabama. Tua Tagovailoa, Alabama.
Yeah.
Even Mac Jones, Alabama. The amount of money they have made in the pros right now dwarfs whatever you could get in college right now.
Yeah.
So, and if you're an Alabama kid, if you're the quarterback of Alabama, you are assuming you're going to get a chance at the pros. That's why you go to Alabama.
What's the smart path?
Well,
and now you've got options. You do.
I think both these kids made the right choice for them. Okay. Let's move to the NBA, where the Boo Birds were out last night in Milwaukee.
Woo.
The Bucks fell behind in the first half by 1 billion points to the Timberwolves, who were without Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert. The Bucks crowd booed the team. They booed their best player, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo booed back early in the second half, sitting on the court after scoring a bucket and getting fouled. Wilbon, what does all of this say to you?
Okay, Giannis, for anybody who's covered the league and been around, if you're around Milwaukee, Giannis is a very, 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 very likable guy anyway. This makes me love him, that he booed back, that he gave them 2 thumbs down. Now, look, you covered the league. Milwaukee is still a small market.
That's right.
And there are sensitivities maybe in Milwaukee that don't exist in New York and Chicago and Boston and Philly and LA. I don't know how this is going to play, but if I'm Antetokounmpo, I don't think he's going to be there that long anyway.
I know, I'm going to get to all of these things.
And so I love that he booed them. I don't care what the reaction is if I'm Giannis, because you know what? I'm going to say yes to some deal at some point anyway.
So, I am the one person in this show who is apparently getting tired of Giannis Antetokounmpo and all of the drama surrounding whether he's going to stay or whether he's going to go.
Well, he doesn't create it.
Yes, he does. He's part and parcel of it. Whether he's going to ask for a trade or not ask for a trade.
But he has
whether he's being treated fairly or unfairly.
Right.
Look, we got into the Mike Tomlin story because 5 or 6 or 8 weeks ago, people started to chant fire Tomlin.
Yeah.
And I sat here and I said, that's wrong.
Yeah.
He was a Super Bowl champion. I think it's wrong to boo Antetokounmpo.
I do too.
He is an NBA champion.
Yes.
But the story, there's a sameness to the story that for me is just getting me down. I don't know that I would have said this. Antetokounmpo said this last night. I don't think anybody has the right to tell me how I should act on the basketball court or after I've been here 13 years, unquote. You're down 31 at the half at home.
He did acknowledge they didn't probably play as hard as he'd like to.
You have said consistently he will be traded before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I think this might hasten it because I think, unlike you, I think this is a bad look. I think it's a bad look when your best player is sitting on the court booing the home fans.
I think it's a bad look too.
I think that's not
But
good.
I'm glad he did it. I mean, people, you want to boo Giannis? Tell me exactly how many championships, how many banners are hanging in Milwaukee? Two.
One with Kareem
and one with Giannis.
So the other part that I would say to this is they've been a very disappointing team in recent years.
They have.
They got rid of 2 coaches, and he had a part in that.
Yeah, he
right?
did.
And now maybe it's landing on him.
He did.
Maybe, as we said about Tomlin, maybe he's there too long. My cautionary word on this is he can win a championship. Don't get rid of him and then get angry if he wins a championship somewhere else.
He's got to actually play in the playoffs, which seems to be a problem almost every year since he did win.
Let's take a break. When we come back, C.J. Stroud had 5 fumbles in the Texans' wild card win. We will ask Steve Young how he took care of the ball.
We'll also ask him if quarterbacks can actually love playing in the wind and cold like Matt Stafford claims he does.
You're still sure Antetokounmpo will be gone?
How about 80%?
80%.
Yeah. I think you gotta. You can't have that.
No.
You can't. It's Milwaukee.
We've got NFL playoff questions for our great friend and the man who I urged as a young quarterback to own the data. Hall of Famer Steve Young. We'll start with this. C.J. Stroud says he's got to work on ball security after putting the ball on the ground 5 times. Yes, I would think so. What did you do, Steve, to keep the ball secure?
Well, the challenge, of course, is that unlike accuracy, you can't teach accuracy. You can teach ball security. You can, in the offseason, 2 hands on the ball, when you go to move in the pocket, you can get better at it. And CJ obviously needs to get better at that, but that can't happen this week. The other problem that we have with more dynamic quarterbacks is the second that the most intense moment in the pocket happens as you realize, I got to go. And then as you start to go, if you don't protect the football, it's now exposed. And so a lot of times, the more dynamic the game is from a quarterback position, the more likely you're going to have the ball on the ground. And that's why, again, going back to just drilling, that's the key to making sure that you're better in the pocket with the ball. And look, CJ's got another problem. He's big enough, like Ben Roethlisberger, where he can stiff arm the lineman. He's the 6th lineman, right? He's like, here, take that. Now with one arm, I'm going to rip it. And that exposes the ball as well. So CJ's got 2 problems. He's dynamic, he can get out, and he's big enough to stiff arm the offensive lineman and put it at risk.
I would think wind and cold might have something to do with ball security, but Matt Stafford tells Jim Gray he loves the wind and the cold, and he's going to be just fine in Chicago. Steve, you've played in that stuff. Does any quarterback love the wind and the cold?
The cold, nobody. If you're down under 10 degrees Fahrenheit, no one's going to be happy. It's a pain. And the ball gets slippery. It's like no one's going to say, oh, I'm great at that. But the wind and the rain are both related to why you like. It's not like, oh, I can't wait to play in the wind or the rain. But you can kind of be neutral about it. Like, it's fine. Because the way you throw the football is you throw with your fingers, where other guys will throw with their hand. I don't know any other way to describe it. And when the hand throwers struggle because they lose the grip, and Tom Brady talked about this over the weekend about how to throw in the wind. Now, that was a good little repertoire about it, but you've got to have the nose down. And the only way to get the nose going down the way you want it to is to come out of your fingers. And so the most accurate passers generally are great in wind and in rain. Ooh. And that's why they kind of go together.
Do you remember that game in Chicago? I think Joe started. I'm not sure if you even played in it, but the NFC Championship game where it was like 0. Do you remember that game?
-28 wind chill. That was a remarkable game. And 28-3, the Bears never got off their back. They never, as good as they were, they never got off their back. It was a rough ride for them.
So much for the cold for the California boys. The Patriots face a very fierce Texans pass rush with an offensive line. If it's not shaky, it seems vulnerable. How would you approach that challenge?
What you do is want to be a sitting duck. And so it's all the aspects of it, right? It's like, I remember we used to kind of attack the defensive linemen, make them worry. Like all of a sudden we bring Brent Jones down in motion, and then he would, block the tackle out of nowhere. I don't know if the play even worked, but it made the tackle the whole day think, where are you guys coming from? Kind of slowed things down. You want to get that. You want to be 3rd and short, of course. You don't want to have long yardage. The quarterback's got to get on the move, get out of the pocket, kind of change the rally point. So in many ways, the toughest job in the world is play quarterback behind a line that's, against the best defensive lines in the league. And this defensive line doesn't have 1 star. It's got 4 stars. And in that way, they come relentlessly at you, and that makes it super difficult. So you better, to me, run the football, right? Everyone says, what's the answer in football? Run it. Well, that's a way to handle this kind of a dilemma. And then 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, you're going to be in a jam. You don't want to be in that 10, if you want to be in third down 12 times, 9 of them need to be shorter than 5 yards. That'd be amazing. That's
so this defense too, Steve, this defense is that good? There's no hype involved with what you see?
Yeah, they're integrated. They're not just a bunch of good athletes. They're integrated in how they play defense, and they pass it off and they work together. It's like a symbiotic kind of feel. That's the most dangerous, those great Raven defenses, they were all integrated. It's like they all work together. It's like they thought like avatars, like they were connected, and you couldn't beat them because they knew what was coming kind of as a group, they didn't play individual defense. And so, I think they're that good.
We will get you out of here on this. You can't get through an interview about football without Wilbon talking about his Bears, which, of course, you watched him do just now.
But
we will talk about your team.
Bears.
Talk about your team, the 49ers. George Kittle is the latest Niner to go out. What does the loss of a player like that mean on a macro and a micro level to a quarterback like Brock Purdy?
Well, the macro level is that, he's the face of the 49ers with Fred Warner, with the experience, the coming out of the locker room, in the locker room, leadership on the field. Like he's the guy that people, he'll rally people, he'll make a speech, those are all big aspects that you lose in the macro level. And then also, in a micro level, he's the guy that is all pro tight end. And when you have an all pro tight end, there's nothing greater as a quarterback to have an all pro tight end, that because the proximity of all the plays are nearer to you. Jerry Rice is out there 30 yards. It's not as intimate, right? It's like, I'm 3rd and 4 and I need somebody to get open. Like I want that all pro tight end to kind of go up and rub against the linebacker, turn around and throw him the ball and get another first down. So missing George is a problem. The issue for the 49ers, though, it feels like injuries with Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, like this whole year has been so injury prone that it was the bug in the system. But suddenly after last week's game, it feels like it's the feature. Like, yeah, we lost George Kittle, but how do we respond? We rally and go beat people on the road in the playoffs. So I'm not demeaning anything about George. It's amazing. It's a terrible loss. But the 49ers seem to be a team that's kind of figures out a way to rally and go get it done.
As always, it's a great pleasure
Much
to have you. Thank you,
appreciated, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. See you guys.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, the Red Sox make news in free